Conway Twitty was born Harold Lloyd Jenkins on September 1, 1933, in the dusty heartland of Friars Point, Mississippi. The son of a Mississippi riverboat captain and a homemaker, Jenkins was immersed from a young age in a culture rich with gospel, country, and blues traditions. The family eventually relocated to Helena, Arkansas, where Harold would lay the groundwork for a career that would span 5 decades and multiple genres. As a boy, he received a guitar from Sears and Roebuck and, quickly, displayed an uncanny knack for melody. By the time he was 10, he was already playing in a band called the Phillips County Ramblers and broadcasting on local radio. These were not childish amusements. They were early signs of a relentless ambition. Though music called to him, another passion vied for his attention: baseball. With a .450 batting average in high school, Jenkins was scouted by the Philadelphia Phillies. Fate, however, had other plans. Drafted into the U.S. Army during the Korean War, Jenkins found himself stationed in Japan, where he led a group called the Cimarrons, entertaining fellow soldiers and keeping his musical dream alive in distant lands. After his discharge, he returned to the States to find a changed musical landscape. Elvis Presley was leading a rock and roll revolution, and Jenkins was listening. In Memphis, he made pilgrimages to Sun Records, absorbing the electricity of Sam Phillips's studio. Though his own Sun recordings never saw release, his song Rock House would be recorded by Roy Orbison, offering him his first brush with songwriting success. By 1957, under the suggestion of his manager Don Siet and the random choice of 2 towns on a map, Conway, Arkansas, and Twitty, Texas, Harold Lloyd Jenkins was reborn as Conway Twitty. His breakout came fast and with ferocity. In 1958, while performing at the Flamingo Lounge in Ontario, Canada, Twitty and his drummer Jack Nance penned "It's Only Make Believe" between sets. The song, dismissed initially, caught fire after a radio DJ flipped the record over and played it. Within months, Twitty was a household name. The song reached #1 in 22 countries, sold over 8 million copies, and sparked a career that would become the envy of many. Twitty's early years were soaked in rockabilly and pop. Hits like Danny Boy, Lonely Blue Boy, and Mona Lisa solidified him as a teen idol. He starred in B-movies such as Sex Kittens Go to College and College Confidential, and he was even the inspiration for the character Conrad Birdie in Bye Bye Birdie. But despite his success, the rock and roll lifestyle felt hollow to him. One night in New Jersey, in the middle of a set, he laid down his guitar and walked off stage, certain that his future was in country music. By 1965, Twitty had signed with Decca Records and began a transformative collaboration with producer Owen Bradley. His early country singles met with skepticism. DJs were reluctant to embrace a former pop star, but Conway was undeterred. In 1968, he struck gold with Next in Line, his first #1 country hit. What followed was a tidal wave of success. Songs like The Image of Me, Hello Darlin', and 15 Years Ago revealed a master craftsman with a deep understanding of heartache, longing, and regret. Twitty's duets with Loretta Lynn became iconic. Beginning with After the Fire Is Gone in 1971, their chemistry lit up the charts. Together they crafted a series of emotional dialogues in song, including Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man, and Feelin's. These were not just vocal pairings, but dramatic narratives rendered in melody. Their partnership won them 4 consecutive CMA Awards for Vocal Duo of the Year and earned them a Grammy. His solo career soared in tandem. He broke taboos with songs like You've Never Been This Far Before, blending sensuality with sincerity. He tackled themes that country music had tiptoed around, bringing an adult perspective to love, guilt, and temptation. With tracks such as Tight Fittin' Jeans, I'd Love to Lay You Down, and The Rose, Twitty fused classic country storytelling with modern sensibilities. Despite his larger-than-life success, Twitty remained a private, modest man. He eschewed glitz and rarely spoke during performances, letting the music do the talking. Offstage, he was a family man, deeply invested in the lives of his children. He married 4 times, twice to his second wife, Mickey Medley, with whom he shared 3 children. His final marriage was to Dolores D. Henry, his former secretary. His entrepreneurial mind was as sharp as his musical instincts. He opened a theme park called Twitty City in Hendersonville, Tennessee, featuring his home and the homes of his relatives. The complex, adorned with fountains, light displays, and memorabilia, became a pilgrimage site for fans. He also invested in the Nashville Sounds baseball team and hosted charity softball games. Though he could have rested on his laurels, Twitty continued to innovate and evolve. In the 1980s, he explored new territory, covering pop hits like Slow Hand and The Rose, while maintaining his country roots. Albums like Southern Comfort and Don't Call Him a Cowboy kept him relevant in an industry increasingly crowded with younger acts. He returned to MCA in 1987 and kept charting hits, including That's My Job, She's Got a Single Thing in Mind, and Crazy in Love. But the clock was ticking. On June 4, 1993, while performing in Branson, Missouri, Twitty became ill. After collapsing on his tour bus, he was rushed to Cox South Hospital in Springfield. Despite emergency surgery, he died in the early hours of June 5th from an abdominal aortic aneurysm. He was 59. Loretta Lynn, who happened to be in the hospital at the same time visiting her husband, saw him briefly before his passing. Twitty's final album, Final Touches, was released posthumously. He was buried in Gallatin, Tennessee, under a red granite vault marked with his birth name. His death triggered a prolonged legal battle over his estate, which had not been updated to include his last wife. The saga revealed years of informal agreements, oral contracts, and undocumented promises to friends, employees, and family members. Court cases dragged on, but eventually his children secured the rights to his name, music, and image. Even after death, his voice found new life. In 2004, Anita Cochran released a duet created from old vocal recordings, reviving Twitty's sound for a new generation. Collections of his rock-era recordings were issued by Bear Family Records, reaffirming his stature in both rock and country music. Twitty's absence left a silence that echoes in Nashville to this day. He had racked up more #1 singles than any other artist at the time, more than 50 in total. 11 of them were self-penned. His songs were not simply hits. They were mile markers in the emotional geography of his audience's lives. He gave a voice to quiet suffering, secret longing, and romantic devotion in a way that few artists have managed. His humility masked the depth of his genius. He once said, "If you do what you love and you're able to take care of the people you love, it doesn't matter what you do. You're a successful man." That philosophy shaped every chord he strummed, every lyric he crooned, and every decision he made. In 1999, he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, but his truest legacy is not etched in awards or monuments. It lives in the songs that continue to play late at night on country radio. It whispers through the voices of modern artists who credit him as inspiration, and it lingers in the hearts of fans who remember exactly where they were when they first heard him say, "Hello, darlin'." Conway Twitty didn't vanish into history, he became a part of it. And for those who know his music, he never really left.